Hello guys, in this video I'll talk about ArcSight FlexConnectors. Group up, it's time for another ArcSight video. I'm sure that you've been in a situation where you're dealing with events collected and processed by an ArcSight FlexConnector. You've heard about parsers, subagents, categorization files, map files, etc., but you're not that familiar with those terms in the actual architecture. So when the foundation of your house is not stable, it can easily fall. That's why with this video you will see an example of HTTP web proxy server called Squid, and how to install a Flex connector, and how to create a Regex parser, which will forward the events to ArcSight DSM, which on its own will correlate and discover some interesting patterns with its rules engine. In this video, my main focus will be on the Flex connectors, the parsers, the categorization files, and then in the second part, we are going to talk about the ArcSight rules. Now, if you haven't subscribed, now is the time. Okay guys, so the Squid proxy has been already installed. I'm gonna leave a link in the description about how to install Squid. And now I'm just going to initiate. I'm going to install here one Flex connector. Okay, next here, yes, next. And now here from this drop down, I'm going to select the ArcSight Flex connector file, hit the next button, log file name, okay. The log file associated with Squid is located under local disk C, Squid, okay, and then under here, actually not here, okay, log, oops, come on, yeah, alright, and yeah, access log, this is the log file of our web proxy, HTTP proxy called Squid. Configuration file, now it's totally up to you to decide how are you gonna call the configuration file. It's just a simple name. So yeah, I'm gonna call mine test squid or something like that, and then hit the next button. Okay, now we need to provide some information about the destination. So my ArcSight DSM hostname. Okay, the name of the Flex connector, and its location. Okay, import the certificate from destination. Okay, next, install as a service, and then the service name. Okay, so once you're done with the installation of the Flex connector, you open command prompt, and then you go under the installation directory where you have installed your Flex connector, and you need to run the following command. So local disk C, and then the installation folder. Under bin we type ArcSight space Regex. This is going to open up the Regex utility, which we're gonna use to build our parser, our Regex parser for this Flex connector. This is how it looks. It's a really nice and useful tool that many security operations engineers who use ArcSight utilize. Just to explain you how it works, you have several options to create a new parser, essentially. All you have to do is just to provide a simple name. By the way, you can check the directory under which we are, C, then Flex, actually user, agent, Flex agent, and so on. And here all I have to do is just to provide a simple name. This name will match essentially the name which I have previously specified during the installation of the Flex connector. Okay, so this will be the name of my parser. Now I can select the log file that I want to load here. The log file location was under local disk C, squid. Okay, var log, and then yeah, here is the log file. Open, and yeah, now you can see how the log file was loaded immediately. Event 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can see. Yeah, so now something important to mention here is that the more events you have in your log file, the better it is. Essentially, don't get and don't obtain just 5 or 10 or I don't know 20, 30 events. Try to obtain as much as you can. So what's the reason for this? The reason for this is because very often when you're building your regex pattern, just like as you can see, typing some backslashes, D plus, S plus, and so on, right? It's very typical, it's very usual to build your regex string, your regex pattern, and then, I mean, to match the first 2, 3 events, 4, 5 events, and then one of a sudden it doesn't match. So in order to optimize, in order to make sure that really works, and by the way, here you can see how it looks mine. This is what I've created, and it matches literally all the events which are part of this log file. If I start scrolling and going, you can see, yeah. So whenever you see it in yellow, this means that my regex is matching and it's meeting the event. And then on the left side as well on the screen, you can see some labels. If you click on here, check common regex, it's gonna go till the end of the file. And if it stops at the end of the file, it means that your regex pattern essentially is good. Now there is as well this part that I call labeling and mapping of event fields. And if you scroll in the documentation in the smart connector for Squid web proxy server file, you will obtain some really nice information about the fields that the proxy has, and essentially what is their meaning, the location of the log file, as you see. Squid is the name of the log format. All right, and now when I scroll further down, you will see more details about the actual fields. Here you can see those formats. Yeah, and this is what I was talking to you about, the server mapping. Now we need to do, this is very important when you're building and when you're creating a parser, and the mapping of the actual fields happens with the help of a guide, a user guide, just like in this case. So since I have already explored before in advance what's the meaning of the fields and how potentially the Squid web proxy fields will match the ArcSight schema fields, I already know this, so that's why instead of wasting time, I'm just going to label them. I'm just going to type them. Okay. All right. So these are just some labels. Okay. Those labels will serve only as a visual highlighter, let's say, and they are going to help me later when I need to do the actual field mapping. Okay, so first is the labeling, then is the actual field mapping. Okay, each and every field of Squid proxy, web proxy, needs to match a particular field which is part of the ArcSight schema. Okay, now you can enjoy some nice music while you're watching this. All the fields, all the values, as you see. It's good to save as well periodically your parser. Now it's time for the actual field mapping. As you can see, with the help of a drag and drop, you go and you pick your first token, and then you move it to the right side of your screen. So now you need to decide this label, what it says actually. Device custom number label 1. Okay, what this label corresponds to the ArcSight schema? Well, it corresponds to this field actually. So all you have to do is just to find it from the drop down menu and then just select it. Okay. Here I have messed up a little bit. Instead of using number, I used date. But I think I should have used. Number instead. So I need to change this, and I'm going to do this quickly. You can enjoy some nice music in the meantime. Yeah, right on time. Field mapping is done. Now save. Okay, we're done here. Now we can close the FlexAgent Regex utility. Click on exit. Actually, let me save just to make sure. Okay. Now exit. All right. Now we go and we open the file. We go under the installation directory, Flex. Okay, current. Okay, user. Okay, we open the parser. Simply right click, open with, and let's say Notepad. Let's take a look. Here on top you're gonna see the regex pattern that we've created, and then if you scroll all the way down, you will see the labeling of the fields, which fields correspond to which, essentially, which web proxy fields correspond to which ArcSight schema fields. And now I'm just going to add two fields here, the device vendor, and you can use _string constant condition. I'm gonna say squid for device vendor, and then for device product I'm gonna use again string constant, and then I'm just gonna say web squid web proxy server. Okay. You might want to either use an underscore. Be careful with the space in the device product, in device vendor, because sometimes, if I remember correctly, there were some issues with putting a space directly. Okay. And now let's do the actual severity. Here you can see the numbers. The device severity 100 to 200, 200 to 300. So low, medium, high, and very high. So we can do something like this: severity dot map dot very high. If device severity equals $500.599. These values, I'm not inventing them. They are part of the PDF file that I have showed you. So now I'm just going to copy and paste this 5 times, I think. So very low, low, medium, high, and very high. Yes, 5 times. And from 100 to 599, I must figure out how to set up the values, but it's pretty clear. So it's going to be 100 to 199, 200 to 299, 300 to 399, 400 to 499, and then 500 to 599. Okay, so very low, low, medium, high, and very high. By the way, this 000, I don't know if you see it, 000 that I'm putting, comma 300. It turns out that 000 is something that it's mentioned here, and it's medium device severity, so it's important to put it. Okay, I'm not inventing, like I said, those things. They are part of the configuration file. Okay. All right, now I've saved it. Okay. And now it's time to create one categorization file. So we go under this location. Okay. As you can see, there's nothing under here. I must create one folder. The folder must have the exact same name as the vendor. Okay. This is imperative. It's very important. And inside that folder, you must type and you must actually create one CSV file. The CSV file name must be the same as the device product. Okay, so there must be a folder with the device vendor name, and inside that folder you must have a CSV file with the device product name. So be careful how you're spelling the vendor, be careful how you're spelling the product. I put it double underscore string constant condition on purpose, okay, inside the parser, because I want to make sure that my categorizer is gonna work. Okay, so this CSV file, the event categorizer, is very simple. It's going to map certain categories, okay, to the actual events based on, again, the device severity. Okay. You pick and you choose the categories that you would like to populate, and also with what information the events will carry and will contain when they are processed by the Flex connector. Okay, now you can enjoy some music again. Okay, let's test and let's see what is the outcome. I'll create a new active channel which will focus on events coming from Squid. The filter that I will create will be very simple. Device vendor equals Squid. Now I'm just going to click on OK. I will try to simulate some events, accessing some websites. LinkedIn, Glassdoor, what else? Stepstone. Okay, now let's take a look. I will reopen the console. Just take a look how many events do we've got. Okay. Let's see the request URL. Many different events. Let's see if the categorization worked. Events are getting categorized. Okay, category device group. Category outcome. significance. Okay, so it's not that it's only parsing the event data to the right schema columns, but it's also performing the so-called categorization, which is just adding additional context to the events that analysts will see. Okay. Now I can create some very high priority events, trying to access some websites that do not exist, or malware bazaar. You can create your own access control lists as well. You can restrict users with the proxy, etc, etc. Just straightforward, it's pretty easy. But yeah, as a result, you're gonna get some high or very high priority events. So if I open my console, literally in a few seconds I should be able to see some, yeah, here they are, some high priority events. These high priority events were generated in real time after me, of course, trying to access those websites. Now also it's really interesting, but there is a rule in this ArcSight DSM that you can configure. For example, if you want to monitor, if you want to see users who are performing the so-called job hunting. Here I have this row under UBM, and the row is really interesting. I have enabled it. See if one is accessing websites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Stepstone, etc, etc. A correlation event essentially can be triggered, can be generated by the ArcSight DSM manager, notifying and showing that there is a user who is potentially accessing those websites. As you can see here, I have a medium priority event which says job hunting, and these are correlation events. If I expose more information, it will tell me probably, I don't know, LinkedIn. Yes. If I check some of the other events, it's gonna tell me Glassdoor, or yeah, those websites that I've been accessing earlier. Essentially, they have triggered this rule. Okay, yeah, as you can see, it's because of this rule. This row is, by the way, very simple. It consists of one condition which says type, not correlation, and then it looks for either events with category behavior access or communicate. In this case, my events have category behavior of communicate, so they meet the condition. Okay, the first condition, which is base event, and then the second condition, which is communicate, is also met. And then finally, the request URL must be inside an active list. For this, I have created one active list which contains some URLs like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, jobs.something, etc, etc. Okay, so this condition is met, this is met, and also the active list condition is met. Having three conditions met, this triggers automatically the rule to create a correlation event. Okay guys, so I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please share, subscribe, like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.